So we're starting in the rear. I've got it jacked up. We're going to take all the existing suspension, this 4-link, we're going to take it all apart, replace it with those TMR bushings. We're going to have to take some measurements for getting our axle position here so that when we put the new axle in, it's in the correct location. Side to side is easy. We just want to make sure that front to back of the car we're set up. Our pinion is definitely not right now, but we'll have to establish that anyway. And we'll get some of this other stuff out of our way. But I sprayed everything with penetrating oil last night. Hopefully that'll help us get it off. Disconnect the brake line as well. Be new brake lines on this. E-brakes need to be disconnected. I already stuffed a bag in there, so I know how I'm going to mount the bag. I just got to get to that point. So I think I'm going to measure from my center point here to my axle. And that'll give me my position for that. And then we'll get this stripped out. We'll drop the axle down. Take the wheels and tires off and pull it right out. And then we'll get the remaining bolts that we need to get these arms off and get everything cleaned up and do a bushing replacement. So next I'm going to do is struggle under here trying to get all these bolts out. Alright, much later, rear end's out. I've got one bar left that's kind of stuck right there that I got to get out. All the rest of it is cleared out. So here's our old rear end here, and here's our new one. Quite a bit of difference in our pumpkin size, our brake rotor size, and our bracketry to come. We're going to be building some brackets that aren't multiple use brackets for the spring perch. It's just going to be the size of the bottom plate. For the shock mounts, we'll be doing something different. And then for these upper and lower 4-link bars, we'll make those nice. So after that, all the air hammering and chiseling to get those parts out. The frame was dropping crap. Everything was dropping crap on me, and I reached max dirtiness in the shop. So I just spent 45 minutes cleaning up, getting rid of all the scrap steel. We got the people that come around on garbage day that they're gonna grab it. So I feel better. Everything's clean. Underneath the plasma's clean. I'm gonna swap these rear ends so that the one that I want to use is under the car, and the other one's in front of the Scout. It can be picked up whenever. I threw the tires in the trunk. So the next thing we're gonna do is, so here's what they look like. So we're gonna wire wheel them. We'll cut those bushings out, and we're gonna replace them. Reach in our trunk here. Right here. So these are our bushing kits. So it gives you a steel sleeve, poly bushings, an inner sleeve. So the plan will be replace that with that. That'll give it a grease fitting. In the future, you'll be able to replace these if you need to. We're doing that on all of them, so we'll make sure that we keep this offset here. These might even press out, and we'll see what the inner diameter is if we're going to press them out and see if we can fit the new ones in. Potentially we got to chuck them on the lathe, get them to the right length, but we'll see what all that looks like when we get to it. I'll jot down on a pad what all of our offsets are for those bushings. I already checked the 2600 bag where it needs to go. Everything's good. No concerns with the upper arms coming in contact with the bag, the upper bag pocket. I already know how I'm going to do the lower mount. Should be super straightforward. We're going to do a big plate that just encompasses the bag base, because these bags, they don't overhang like the slams do. So yeah, just going to finish cleaning up, probably throw the drive shaft in the Scout so I'm not so I don't drop it and ding the yoke or anything, and then I'll call it a night. Since we're not keeping these bushings in here, what I'm doing is cutting here and here with the zip disc, and then finishing with the Sawzall and then the air chisel. That's getting these bushings out, and then we're going to run these. So these are 100 thou too big on the diameter and 200 thou too big on the overall length. So we're going to take these over to the lathe, take the diameter down to 1.9 from 2 inch, and take this down 200 thou in overall length, as well as the larger part down in 200 thou. And then that'll put it right back into the factory location. We'll get new bolts for them, but the easiest way so far to get these out is cutting them out. Alright, that's all of them. All the bushings are out. Got my dimensions already. So, next step is the lathe. Bushings are machined. We're back home now. We were just at my dad's place. So we've got our arms here. So where I put the shoulder on it, that goes into there like that. Same thing on the other side. And these had a standoff from the factory. So this shoulder I machined on, that incorporates the measurement that they were from factory. So where they're sliding in is the exact same spot to where the factory ones were. So for the stuff that's remaining in the car, it's in a good position. The stuff I'm adding to the axles, it's obviously going to change because we're putting new bracketry on the axle. So I'm going to get all these welded up. So we've got the 8 bushings to do. Once they're welded, we'll put some paint on them. And then we've got all of our bushings and shortened sleeves. I still got to chamfer the sleeves before I put them in, but they're shortened 200 thou. These are shortened 200 thou. We took this from 2" down to 1.85. We still got our Zerk fitting in there, so we'll get these burned in, and then we'll move on to probably doing the upper bag cups while everything is out of the way and I don't have to mess with anything. It'll be clear for getting the drill in and out to drill for the airline, drill for the 5/8 bolt that I think is going to retain it. I haven't decided if I'm going to do that or if I'm going to do some bolts around the ring where it adds more surface area to that spring pocket. So still kind of up in the air on what that design is going to look like, but we're going to figure that out today. Get those in, and then we'll just have the lower spring pockets, all the mounts on the axle. I'm going to design those today as well, using the original rear end. I'll get those figured out because we've got an offset distance that these were from the axle. I don't care about this shock crap. And then we've got our upper brackets there. They have a distance off, so I'm going to measure all that out. That way our distance between center of bolt top, center of bolt bottom will remain the same, therefore keeping the geometry that the original had. And then when we set up our pinion, we'll set up our pinion at ride height. I'm not sure how much pinion change will happen with this as it articulates through the range, but we'll set it up at mid-range, and that'll be perfect because we know that it's going to be set. So, but that'll be future stuff. We'll get to that. Right now, let's get these bushings burned in. So I've got the bushings standing up on 1, 2, 3 blocks here. I do want to make sure that my Zerk fittings are in a spot where we can get to them, so I'm going to angle them a little bit in just to make sure that if that is in the down position or up position, we can get to that no matter what to add that grease. Alright, so we'll do that 6 more times and get them painted. And see, we got our offset on one side, and then the bushing is flat on the other side. So that gave us the factory settings that we were looking for. So that's those done. Now we're going to move on to the upper bag mount for the rear. Yeah. Just want to talk about what we're doing on these rear bag cups. So this is our standard upper bag cup here. Same that we do for the front, for the backs typically if we can. With this back though, where the bolt is doesn't align with where I want this bag to be. If it was a 6-inch bag, it'd be perfect, no issues. With it being a bigger bag, I want more clearance around it, so I'm going to move it towards the pumpkin more, away from the outside of the car. So in doing that, I don't have a good location because where it comes, where the spring used to be is really wide and then it dips down. So I've hole sawed the dip down out, and I created this plate here. So this plate welds to the car. You can see the shoulder there. That comes down and sits down on there and creates a positive location so that that can't move around. So once that's all in, we've got our 5/8. Oh, we're off on position here. So we got our 5/8 bolt, our hole for our airline. We're down on top of that. I've already got the driver's side in. And then I just started cutting for the passenger side. So I cut a hole. It's in the back over there. There's another one over there. That's going to allow it to get to the 5/8 nut to tighten all that down. It's also going to allow the airline to come up through there. And then I can run it to the management. I think the management is either going to go, well, the management's either going to go in here or in the shelf. I haven't decided yet. So that's going to be, I think, tomorrow. Because I don't have any hardware for the rear end. I didn't know what I wanted to do there. Now I do. So I'm going to pick that up on Monday. Today's Saturday. So tomorrow I'm going to work on management. We're going to be all over the map on this video. It's not like the traditional build series where I'm doing front, back, management. We're going to be doing, we did bushings, rear bags. We're going to do some management. Be nice to get that powered up actually, just to make this easier to lift up and down. Obviously with the front being heavier, it needs more PSI to do that. So I think I'm going to get the management in. Where's the good? This is really dark. So maybe I'll start doing electrical management and all that stuff tomorrow. I did work on the skirts a little bit. So this skirt over here, it's not in right now. It's on the roof. It's fitting good. It's got some positive location on that. The passenger side is not as good. I haven't really spent too much time on it. I went in for dinner and came out and wanted to do air ride. So I'll get back to that after. It can be dead last. It doesn't matter. But I just want to get moving along with this rear air ride. Get the axle in. So I cut some axle brackets. So I just need hardware. I'll pick that up on Monday. And then we can mount the rear end. Get the bag brackets set up on it. The upper links. I don't have anything cut for those yet because they come in on an angle. So I got to figure out what that angle is before I can make those links. But we're doing what we can to keep this moving. Tomorrow we'll probably do a transmission filter and pan gasket. The Scout's got a leak. So we'll do that. That shouldn't take long. And just keep trucking along on all these builds. So today, worked on the management, cut a piece of wood, wrapped it in black carpet, and then put everything in. So that's what it looks like. We talked about where to put it. This was kind of the best location. If it's up in there, There's speakers that are going up there, and it's easier to cover this up than do the speakers to put the grills in and make sure everything's safe. So gone down here. The slowdowns and everything are easily accessible if you want to speed it up or slow it down. I need 2 fittings for this, 3/8 elbows, and then that should be all the air fittings for this that I need. And then I got to go through and set up all the sensors in this system as well for the air gauges. But we have all the fittings for that. I'll get the bolts tomorrow to do the rear suspension. So I think that's where we're going to end this one. When we come back, we're going to put the link bars in, put the rear end in, get the rear bags mounted. We'll get the power lines run to the trunk for powering this system up. We'll get the front lines run. The rears are popping up through the trunk. And then we'll have shocks to still do, but that's cool. And I'll still finish off the passenger skirt. So that's it for this one, guys. Thanks. Like, subscribe, tell your friends, comment down below. Let me know what you think of this car. Thanks, guys. Bye.